Hi, good morning. We're out here in the garden. It's before 8 o'clock, before the sun has reached this garden space. We're out here to test to see if this pepper plant right here has enough boron. And we're going to do that by checking the bricks of the leaf tissue. And I don't know if you've ever seen one of these. This is a refractometer. Really simple qualitative tool. You can get one of these from Amazon for less than 25 bucks. It's a great tool to have in your tool belt when you're assessing plant health. It's calibrated to percent sucrose, 0 to 32 degrees bricks. We're looking for bricks around 12 for a healthy plant in the leaf tissue. But for right now, because the sun hasn't started shining on these plants yet, so they haven't started photosynthesizing really yet. That engine is just about to kick in. The bricks should be lower. In the evening, a plant will send its sugars. Around 5 p.m., it'll start sending its sugars to its sugar sinks, and that's either to the fruit, the growing shoot tip, or the growing root tips. And that is the encouragement for all of those activities to keep moving forward. Getting the nutrition, the sap carries the nutrition. And so yes, it has a high sugar content, and those can be simple or complex sugars, but it also has a high nutrient, high mineral, high compound content. So this is really kind of an assessment of total dissolved solids as well. Again, qualitative, not quantitative. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to test the sap of this pepper plant, who is producing peppers pretty prolifically. It's doing good at producing peppers. We're in the late part of the season here though. It is September 14th. And so we really don't want this plant to be pushing peppers, pushing more reproductive growth, but we would like this plant to be able to finish peppers successfully, and we're seeing that there are issues. I feel like this could be a calcium issue. Perhaps the plant is not getting enough calcium at the right time to the developing dividing cells, and so we have cell wall integrity issues. First thing for me to check would be to see if the sugars are being allocated properly. Are they feeding the fruit, the growing shoot tip, and the growing root tip? Through the roots, those exudates, those sugars, are feeding the microorganisms. Those microorganisms then source nutrients, provide those to the plant, whether that's through free living soil microbes, or if those are endophytic microbes who are taking part in the rhizophagy process. Either way, those sugars need to be making their way out of those roots into the rhizosphere to feed microbes, to attract microbes, to solubilize nutrients. And so if that's not happening, then we have in essence, a constipated plant. It's not flowing properly. It's not releasing those sugars where they need to go, orienting them where they need to go, and that's a deficiency. That's a malfunction. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a leaf from the top of the plant. I'm looking for a fully developed leaf, fully expanded leaf from the top of the plant. The plants are producing their leaves from the top. And so the first 2 or 3 leaves are going to be immature. They're not fully expanded, so they're not photosynthesizing fully yet. And so I'm looking for a fully expanded leaf. I could use this one. I could use this one. We'll go for this one. You can do differential testing, and we'll discuss that in a later video. That's not necessarily what we need to be doing right now. We're just checking to see if the sugars and, protocol, you can wear gloves to do this, but this is kind of, again, just a qualitative assessment. If you have, make sure you're using clean equipment and your hands are clean so that you're not adding additional dissolved solids to this plant material. I very simply just fold that plant material up. Depends on what type of plant you're testing. We can go through protocols for testing with a refractometer at another time. So this is a modified vice grip. Got that from the Bionutrient Food Association when I signed up as a grower member years ago. I love this tool. It makes this process very simple. 1 or 2 drops on the lens or the prism of the refractometer. Close the plastic cap, orient it like a telescope towards the sun, just view through the eyepiece. And I am seeing right now in that slightly older but fully mature leaf on the top of the plant, I'm seeing a Brix of 10.5. It's a blurry line. It's not really sharp. We'll talk about that later, what that means. But 10.5 is where we're at. And so I'll just fill you in. I tested another leaf that was higher up just a moment ago, one node up, and that leaf tested at 15. That's pretty high, but you'll see that commonly that the older leaves are going to be a little bit lower in Brix, and the newer leaves, which are primary, which are priority for the plant, are going to have a higher Brix. The plant is sending nutrition to those leaves because that is the most vital tissue. So before 8 o'clock, before this plant really starts photosynthesizing, we're seeing a Brix of in between 15 and, in between 10 and 15. Relatively high. We want a Brix in the leaf tissue above 12. That is going to indicate that the plant is sufficient in a lot of ways. But being that the Brix is that high at this time of the morning, I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not dropping its sugars at night and not feeding the rhizosphere. What we're going to do is we're going to test this again at peak sun in between 11 and 3. I'll pick a time, a consistent time that I know that I can come and return to this garden and do this test again. You want to have repeated assessments, and you want to pick a time with Brix. You want to be pretty precise with the way you create your protocol for particular gardens or particular plants so that you're getting more replicate information. So we're going to test this later on today. Once the sun has been shining, we have got a sunny day ahead, and we'll see where the Brix is. If the Brix is still in that 10 to 15 range, knowing if I'm testing a fully mature leaf that's just fully expanded, I'm looking for a Brix around 15. If I'm testing a leaf that is one node back and is just slightly older, maybe it's around 10 or 11. If I'm seeing that Brix is consistently the same, then I know that boron is an issue. If I'm seeing that the Brix is higher, if we're reaching 19 in the younger leaf and maybe 15 in that older leaf, then we're more than likely okay on boron. To check for boron sufficiency, you can use this very simple $25 tool or less to check your Brix in the morning and then compare that to an afternoon reading to see if the sugars are being relocated. We'll check later on today. I'll fill you in. Thanks.